welcome back to another video. If you're new to our channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below and go check out our Instagram pages. They are linked in the description as always. So for today's video, I wanted to do 5 essential items that every snake keeper should own. So I have a bunch of items here on the floor and I'm gonna show them to you. So these items are absolutely essential. In my opinion, you cannot properly keep a snake of any kind if you do not have these items. Now, with that said, there is one thing that is questionable. It depends on the species of snake that you have, whether you would need this or not. But these other items are absolutely essential. So the first one I'm gonna show you is a temp gun. Absolutely essential. Every snake keeper, if you have underbelly heat, if you use heat tape, should have a thermostat that is relaying what the temperature of that heat mat is and regulating it. However, it is always a good idea to have one of these to make sure that your thermostat is reporting the accurate temperature. Over time, thermostats do go out, so it is always good to, every once in a while, check to make sure that it's reporting the accurate temperature. So this is an absolutely essential item to have. The second essential item that as a snake keeper you should have is some way to read the level of humidity in your enclosure. Doesn't matter what kind of snake you have, you need to have some way to read the humidity. Whether your snake requires lower humidity or higher humidity, you need some way to accurately read this. It doesn't have to be read consistently, but you need to have some way to check it on a regular basis. Now there's all different ways you can do that. There's different kinds of humidity gauges. There's these kind where you can kind of set them in there and it'll read temperature and humidity. Or there's stuff like these from Flukers that also read temperature and humidity. Or some of our modern day thermostats also come with humidity probes and you can read the humidity and the temperature on those thermostats. The third essential item has to do with feeding. Now this comes to personal preference. I have these long feeding tongs or tweezers. Now there are all different kinds and lengths. I have chosen this one. I believe this one is a 24-inch. This serves us really well. I got this one off of Amazon for I think around $10. Some people prefer forceps, and those are the ones that you can actually clamp shut, and I'll leave a picture up here of what those look like. They're fairly inexpensive. You can get them in all different sizes, as I said, but these are absolutely essential for feeding if you want to keep your fingers. Now, if you have smaller snakes and you are comfortable with just dangling the rat in there, more power to you. I prefer not to get bit. I have a few boas that are a little more aggressive with their feeding response, and their strike is very, very powerful. So I prefer to use some kind of tongs when I'm feeding. I feel like it's a safe option for me and for them. So I consider these an essential item to have when you are keeping snakes. Now, if you have larger constrictors or something that's maybe over 6-7 feet, these may not be long enough. You may want to go with something that's a little bit longer just to make sure you keep your hands out of that strike range. Now, the fourth essential item may not be essential to a lot of people, but for me, because I have different species of snakes and some are a little more quote unquote cage aggressive, so we do hook training to get them used to being tapped with a hook to signal that it is not feeding day and I am not food. So for like our baby Woma python, I use this tiny little hook because she is still fairly small. I think she's probably only around 70 grams. I haven't weighed her in a while, but we just use this tiny little hook. It does extend to 26 inches. Do not extend it. All I use is about this much. Give her a little tap, I lift her out, and then she is good to go. If I stick my hand in there, I am guaranteed to get nipped. I have already gotten nipped with her out, but now that we've done a few months of hook training, she is doing a lot better with handling, and we do not have the strike response that we used to. Now for something that's a little bit bigger, like our bigger boas, we have a longer snake hook to keep us out of that strike range and to give us a little more control when we are handling the snake. The end is more to have a little bit more control over the head, to keep that biting area away from our hands. This way we can at least hold the back of the body and hold the front or the head area with the front to have more control when we have our snakes out. Now, I do use this for a few of our bigger ball pythons. We do have two that are quite feisty that I'm not comfortable just sticking my hand in there, because no matter what, they go for my hand. So this is nice to be able to use to control their head a bit more, to get them out of the cage if I need to. So for the fifth and final essential item, depending on your species of snake, this may or may not be an essential item for you. Most species that are kept need a higher humidity level, so this is going to be an essential item. Unless you have a snake like a hognose or maybe a corn or milk snake, this would not be an essential item for you. But if you're keeping ball pythons, blood pythons, most boas, Amazon boas, your Suriname redtails, any of your BCIs, any of your tree-dwelling arboreal snakes, this is gonna be an essential item. This is just a spray mister. I got this one from Home Depot. There's all different kinds you can get. This is a little 1 gallon. It's just a pump sprayer, and then it has the little wand to spray down our substrate when we need a little bit more humidity. For me and the species of snakes that I keep, this is an essential item. If you haven't seen any of our other videos, we have an Amazon tree boa that needs a higher humidity, around 75%. So I use this to spray down her cage every single day to keep that humidity level up. We also use this for our Suriname redtail boa. I usually spray her cage down every other day for the same reason, to keep her humidity up. And then I usually go through my ball python tubs that are here behind me that have ReptiChip, and I will spray down any of the substrate that's extremely dry, or if I have any snakes that are going to be going into shed, I keep those a little more wet than usual to ensure that they have a good shed. We just had one of our females that shed out, and this guarantees that they have a perfect shed every single time by wetting the ReptiChip. So in my opinion, those are the 5 essential items that I believe every snake keeper should have. Now, depending on your species of snakes, there are other essential items that are tailored to the specific snake keeper as well as the specific species of snake. For what we have, these are the 5 essential items that I think most people will need across the board. So before I end the video, we'll just run through them one more time again. We have our temperature gauge, some way to test the humidity, feeding tongs or forceps, some kind of snake hook, whether it's small, big, and some kind of misting system. With the misting system, you can also go with an automatic misting system with a probe like the Monsoon. Those are also great, so you don't have to manually do it every morning. Because I have a tub system, the misting system works out just great for us. I'll probably go to a Monsoon for my boas, so that way it takes a little bit of work off of me and I don't have to do it in the future. All right, so I didn't want to end this video without showing a single snake in the video. So I'm gonna pull out just a few of kind of my personal favorites. One of them is Rocky. What's up, dude? Rocky is an Orange Dream Mojave 100% het clown male, and he's gonna be plugged in to some really cool breeding projects for us. A lot of his babies will probably be holdbacks next year because we have a lot of projects in mind that we're gonna build over the next few years. But I think he is just absolutely awesome. He has an absolutely great temperament too. There he goes. I love his coloring. I love what the Orange Dream does to the darker moors, and I can't wait to see this in clown or with some other things. He is absolutely beautiful, and he's leaving. Bye. All right, let's put him back and grab another one. Another one of our absolutely awesome males that we're gonna plug into some breeding projects here in the future is this guy. And he is a mahogany black pastel banana, and he is 100% het pied. And he is not gonna cooperate either. He has this absolutely crazy like half head stamp. Hopefully you can kind of see that. But yes, his colorations are absolutely awesome. And it's really hard to get the perfect lighting to where you can see his colorations, but he has a lot of really cool oranges in his side pattern and in his dorsal stripe. So I can't wait to see this in a pied form. It's gonna be absolutely awesome. So the last one I'm gonna show today is gonna be this female. She was sold to us as a lavender albino, 100% het pied, which was really exciting for my husband because he would like to make some dreamsicle combos here in the future. Now, as she's getting older, I am pretty confident that she is a lavender albino. She doesn't have the deep purples like some, but you can see them starting to come out on her head, which doesn't really come out in the video, but in person you can see the subtle changes. However, her pattern is a lot different than the normal lavender albinos that I see. It almost looks blade to me. The only person that I see that has lavender albinos with blade in them is, I think, Tallgrass. He has a few on Morph Market that I've kind of compared a little bit to, but she has absolutely no alien heads whatsoever. So I am really, really excited to prove out to make sure she is pied, as well as see what other things she has going on in the mix here. She is a lot different than a lot of the other lavender albinos that I have seen. So this one is kind of exciting. This was one of our Craigslist pickups. And so the person we got her from was not a reputable breeder. He did not disclose where he originally got her from. So we are really unsure. So I think what we're gonna do is we are gonna end up getting a visual dreamsicle, maybe male. If you don't know what a dreamsicle is, that is a lavender albino pied. So it's a double recessive. Just to try to prove her out. Doing the visual for the both the pied and the lavender albino will give us a greater chance of proving her out. And if she is just a regular albino, or if she's not pied, at least we'll end up with babies that are double recessive, and we can just keep them as whole backs. Actually, in this case, if she is not a lavender albino, she would be a regular albino, so that would actually be a triple head of the albino, lavender albino, and the pied. So we will have to see. This one is going to be a very exciting one in the future. She will probably not be ready this coming up season, but she will definitely be ready next season. She has a great feeding response, and she is putting on weight like crazy. So this is another one that we are super excited about. So that is it for today's short video. If you liked it and you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Leave any comments down below if you have any questions or concerns. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay safe, stay sane out there. Hopefully we can get out and make our own footprints here pretty soon. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you again for watching. Bye.